Hi Leo, welcome to your May bonus reading. My name is Kimberly from the Path Illuminated. If you are returning, thank you for your support. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you would like to stay up to date on when I post new content to the channel. Leo, I hope you are doing well as I am recording your reading. It is May 11th. We are still in the midst of Taurus season. I believe we'll be shifting into Gemini season on May 20th. So hope you are doing well. Without further ado, Leo, let's get going. Thank you, angels, spirits, and guides. Please help me in pulling the most relevant messages for the Leo collective at this time. Okay. Let's pull a couple more for you here, Leo. Okay. So, Leo, the first card out we have is the Empress, but the Empress is in reverse. I'll just show this to you upright. The Empress is the card of Taurus, and we, like I said, are in Taurus season. So at this time, Leo, you might be going through or working through a period where you've really been questioning yourself. You've been maybe feeling a bit unstable. Perhaps, it has been a challenge to tap into your creative energy. Maybe you have been feeling depleted. Perhaps you've been struggling potentially financially. Maybe things in your career have really felt stalled, and it's been a time of reflection. Oftentimes when cards come out in reverse, this is a very internal energy, and we are out of Mercury retrograde, technically speaking. I believe we move out of Mercury retrograde shadow phase on the 13th. So we're coming up to it. So you still may be going through a period of deep inner reflection where you're trying to really grapple with this stuck energy, right? Maybe writer's block, or if you're a content creator, you've felt uninspired. I'm also hearing maybe it's been, as of late, a bit of going through the motions, right? Where you show up, you do the things that you normally would do, or you're expected to do, or you think that you should be doing, but you don't feel inspired. You don't feel motivated. It's like you're getting up and doing all of the things you normally would do, or you're expected to do, or you think you should be doing, but they're not quite hitting the way that they used to, right? So this just may be a time where you're trying to better understand why. What's this blockage? What do I need to do? Is there something that I can do to move this energy to gain some momentum? Again, maybe you've been having these moments where, you sit down to write, or at your computer, or to record something, and maybe you're even doing that, right? Depending on your situation. Obviously, Leo, all of you are going to be in completely different situations, but whatever it is that you're attempting to create, I do feel like you've been doing your best to find motivation and inspiration, but I'm getting a sense that maybe for you it feels forced or uninspired, or has been feeling that way, and you've been struggling with that. I do feel like you're still showing up, right? And maybe from the outside looking in, people might even see you as, this beautiful, abundant, creative individual, but internally I feel like maybe there's just a lack of inspiration and motivation and a sense of going through the motions. Now, interesting, we have the Ten of Swords, which is also in reverse. I will show it to you upright. When the Ten of Swords is upright, this is about, the end to mental conflict, the end to a very painful, conflicted, mentally challenging time, but it's in reverse. And I'm wondering if maybe, Leo, you are being too hard on yourself, if perhaps you just have such a very high standard for yourself, for the way that you show up, for the things that you create, for how you do your job, for how you show up for your friends and your relationships, that it is, I'm feeling like maybe there's a very intense inner critic. Now, what is an inner critic? It's a voice inside our heads and our psyches, however this manifests for you as an individual, that is highly critical, hence inner critic. Though oftentimes that voice, even if we attach to it, you know, I've often said this in my own healing, that I've had to learn that I am not my thoughts or my feelings, which has helped, but doesn't make it easy, right? We all go through challenges, and I think all of us, especially, you know, those of us who are into self-improvement and trying to elevate ourselves and evolve, etc., you know, we tend to be very hard on ourselves because we have high standards, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But with this 10 of Swords in reverse energy, Leo, what I'm hearing and feeling is there might be a highly active inner critic. The inner critic is not your voice. It can typically be associated with potentially a family member, a caretaker from when you were a child, somebody who was very hard on you, maybe was very discipline focused, maybe was the type of person that believed, you know, spare the rod, spoil the child. You know, all of us have had different upbringings that could even be attributed to a school system, right? Teachers, religious upbringing that felt if they were too positive, if they praised you too much, that you were going to get a big head and you were going to get an ego, etc. I see you struggling, right, with feeling inspired, feeling motivated, going through the motions, and I feel like you're having a hard time not judging yourself for this energy. But I'm also kind of feeling this sense that, like, there's only so much that you can do, right? And I do feel like you have been doing your best to sit with yourself, to understand, like, what the heck's going on with me? How do I come out of this stagnant energy? And what I would say, the advice that I'm getting from this 10 of Swords in reverse card is you actually need to go easier on yourself. You need to give yourself some patience, some grace, some understanding. There's a cliche, I can't remember where I heard it from, you know, in my many years of therapy and self-help, etc. I probably have picked this up from a number of places because I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, you can't, like, beat behaviors out of yourself. You can't judge yourself and criticize yourself into new behaviors. It's like, you have to really love yourself when you are in a situation or an energy that you're not super happy about. You have to, it's part of shadow work. I don't know how many of you are versed in shadow work, but shadow work is about being very honest with oneself about the behaviors, the thoughts, the feelings that we tend to hide because we're ashamed of them. And the only way that we can do shadow work is to love ourselves through the process. So it's like, this is an example. If you're struggling with being envious of somebody that has something that you don't have, let's say it's, again, this is just an example. They have a project or a job or a relationship that you wish you had. And I don't think anybody, again, that is attempting to be a good person or a healed person wants to necessarily admit that they have feelings of envy and jealousy. But if you just ignore it and try to sweep it under the rug, it's only going to grow in power and start to have more control over the way that you show up around that person. Could even be somebody you care about. And when you go within and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Instead of judging yourself and saying, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't feel this way. I'm a terrible person. I can't, and to the point where you're so ashamed, you stop even admitting to yourself that you feel that way. You could even come up with stories about people being bad because you want to justify how you're feeling. Shadow work is really intense work, Leo. So that actually might be what you're working through right now. And again, these are just examples, right, to help you better understand and apply this to your particular situation. It's like you can approach yourself, your inner self, with love and say, well, I understand why I feel that way. This person is in a job that I would want, but I know that they worked really hard for it, and I don't want to give into a lack mentality. You know, I want to just understand that it's coming from a place where I feel like I am not able to, at this moment, manifest the job, the role, the relationship that I desire. But let me love myself through that process from a place of patience and understanding, and then try to reframe my perspective and be inspired by this person, right? Learn, how did they get that job? What do they think about it, right? What do they love about it? What do they not love about it? Let me be loving with myself so I can better understand why I'm having this inner conflict and this struggle, right? And instead of judging myself for it, realize that I'm human like everybody else. And if I can just be honest with myself and grant myself the grace that I need, I can actually process this and work through it. Again, this is not easy work, right? And this is one tarot reading where I'm sharing, you know, my experiences with you, my insights from my own journey, right? In a general sense that hopefully will help you to put these pieces together if these messages are resonating. It's not a one and done situation. It's a continuous process, right? It's a day-to-day practice. Some days you do well, some days you really, really struggle. And loving yourself in those times when you're struggling with not feeling motivated, not feeling abundant, not feeling attractive, not feeling creative, you know, acknowledging why the inner critic might be saying, oh, I can't believe this about you, and I can't believe that about you. It's like, because you have a high standard for yourself, which is not a bad thing, but then you can bring in love and say, hey, inner self, hey, inner critic, I understand why I'm struggling with this. It's because I've been having a hard time. I've felt blocked. I've felt like things have stalled in my life, and it's starting to make me question my worth. But I know that I am deserving, and I know I'm a good person, right? And I'm not going to let this be the story. I'm going to love myself through this process. So we have 5 of Swords, and it's in reverse. I will show it to you upright. You know, when this is upright, as you can tell, you see this wolf biting the other wolf in the back. But I see this in reverse. So again, with these other 2 energies, the Empress in reverse and the 10 of Swords in reverse, I do feel like you are working through shadow work, honestly, and working to let go of self-sabotage, working to let go of inner conflict, of, you know, demeaning inner dialogue, of thoughts, perspectives that make you feel like you're not good enough just because things aren't going the way that you necessarily want them to, right? Or the way that society or the way that your family or your friends expect them to, right? There's a lot of influences that come into the way that we judge ourselves. Again, this is why it's so important to do shadow work, right? This is why it's important to detach from our thoughts and feelings and to become the observer, to become the witness, right? Because oftentimes the values that we have are so heavily influenced by our upbringing, by society, by our family, by our friends, by people that we're surrounded by, that sometimes we think that they are our values when they are not. So I feel like all of this is being triggered and brought up for you to understand the ways in which maybe you haven't been kind and loving and patient enough and graceful enough with yourself, Leo. And I feel like you are going to actually start to come through this. And I think that if you're willing to do this work, you're willing to do the shadow work, any, you know, inner critic struggles, any inner conflict, any self-sabotage that you've struggled with in the past, you are going to be able to process these triggers and let that behavior go if it's something that you feel like you've struggled with, Leo. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So you know, when it's upright, this is an opportunity, an offer, potential for something, right? And it could be related to, you know, your finances, your career, job opportunities, business opportunities, you know, creative projects, side hustles. What I would say is that if this has been stalled, if it's been feeling stalled, it's because of these 3 cards before, this shadow work. And I also feel like this is a process of you getting really clear with yourself, Leo, about what you want and what you deserve. And I'm feeling the call to bring up this concept once again of really getting clear with yourself and asking yourself those honest questions like, is this thing that I want, this job, this promotion, this raise, this relationship, you know, this level, this status, are the things that I want, are they really my values? Are they really based on the things that Leo really truly wants and values deep down in their heart? Or are these goals and, you know, statuses and things that people around me have told me I should want? Are these more influenced by my family of origin, the friends I hang out with, the society I live in? So I really do feel like, even though this is very clearly very, very challenging energy, Leo, you know, I am a big proponent of the framework of things are not happening to me, they're happening for me. You know, when you're in the midst of doing shadow work and ego death, the dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it, that's still very difficult, right? To remind yourself that I can do something with this dark period, with this challenge, with this stuck energy, with looking at my shadows and my inner critic and my self-sabotaging behaviors and asking myself honest questions about, why do I want this? Do I really want this? Or do my parents want this? Do my friends want this? Have I really asked myself if these are genuine desires from my heart? All right, Leo, so definitely this is some intense energy. You know, we have been going through an intense period astrologically, collectively, and interesting. You know, things are happening collectively for all of us to really trigger this concept. You know, Pluto is currently retrograde in Aquarius, and Pluto went into Aquarius January 20th, and it will retrograde back into Capricorn, I believe, in September or October. I'm not an astrologist, but around that time frame. And then it will move back into Aquarius in November for the next 20 years. This is a huge transit, and it's an opportunity for all of us to really question our personal values and whether or not we are actually acting on our personal values and the thing. Are we walking our talk? Are we all talk, or are we actually embodying the things that we say we value in the world on an individual level and collectively in the world around us? So I'm not super surprised to see this heavy energy happening. And then we did have the eclipse portal, which I will talk a little bit about in a moment. Okay, so we had the Ace of Pentacles reversed, but we have the Page of Wands. And I was just reading, because this is a new deck, it's the Small Spells Tarot by Rachel Howe, which I failed to mention. Page of Wands has a royal flush. So, you know, I do see you after, like, if you are willing to accept this challenge of going within, facing your shadows, doing this really intense inner work, grappling with your self-sabotage, asking yourself about your personal values and how you make the best decisions, the most aligned decisions for yourself, that you're going to find, Page of Wands, that you have a royal flush, you have a good hand to play. But I think that this journey that you've been on and you're continuing to be on is helping you to remove, let go of all of the thoughts, behaviors, values that actually stop you from realizing what you hold in your hands and what is available to you. You have something magical to bring to the world, but I think it's something that maybe has been buried under a ton of programming, conditioning, influenced by outsiders, which all of us go through if we're on this spiritual journey, right? You're not the first one, but this is a really, really powerful card. You have a very powerful card to play here. And then what's next? The High Priestess. So it's like doing this shadow work. You're going from the Empress reverse to the High Priestess, card of Pisces here. So it's like going into the depths, dealing with your insecurities, your fears, your anxieties, your shadow work, your inner critic, you know, asking yourself these hard questions and really getting clear about who you are and exactly what you have to offer the world is going to give you an opportunity to also level up spiritually and to gain grounding and confidence in your own intuitive knowing, trusting yourself more intuitively, less questioning about who you are, what you want, and the choices that you need to make. So, you know, that's often what comes after a period of shadow work is a spiritual ascension, as we say, or a spiritual awakening in the spiritual community, right? So if you're going through this, just understand, again, when you're in the middle of that shadow work, that dark night of the soul, that existential crisis of questioning everything, yourself, your values, your reality, your job, your friends, your family, everything, it feels really, really hard. But if you stick with it, and the only way out is through. But on the other side is this royal flush and spiritual ascension, right? So this is really, really powerful energy. Then what do we have? Which is why I said I was going to talk about the eclipse portal, the card of justice. So, you know, I'm not an astrologer, but I do follow astrology. We had the eclipse portal. We had the lunar eclipse in Libra, card of which has everything to do with relationships, the other, on March 25th, and then the solar eclipse in Aries, which is all about the self, the entrepreneur, the I am, on April 8th. And a lot of astrologers have said that this energy is going to be very much with us through the rest of the year. So all of this is happening to bring in balance, to show you where things have been out of balance within you, within your relationship dynamics, where you may have been giving too much to your relationships, your family, your coworkers, your friends, and where you maybe have needed to strike out more on your own, trust yourself more, right? Be more of an advocate for yourself. So again, all of this is happening very much to level you up spiritually and to bring balance and divine justice into your life. Again, it may not feel like that in those moments where you're going through that deep, dark process, but once you get through that portal of darkness, there is a lot of magic and balance on the other side. And then we have another card of balance, which is the Six of Pentacles, right? So this is bringing all of your resources, your money, your time, your energy into balance, right? So definitely this is a period of the universe revealing to you where you have been giving too much, where people have been taking, where you maybe need to place more boundaries, right? Where you need to maybe be a little more selfish, and like not in the sense of what we think. Like I have a hard time with the word selfish because it has such a negative connotation, but I would say like more in balance with your self-love, with, you know, the things that you value, with the things that you want to do, right? No longer always being the person that drops everything for people that would never be there for you. You know, if this has to do with work, it could be understanding, you know, that your job has been taking advantage of you. They haven't been paying you enough. They haven't been giving you the recognition you deserve. You know, you putting in a boundary saying, hey, I'm leaving at 5:30 every day, or I haven't taken time off in 6 months. I'm going to take 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Right. So like everything that's been happening You know, it's interesting because the first 4 cards, they're all reversed, right? And so again, like I was saying, this is very internal energy, but all of the beautiful cards after that are all upright. So stick with it if you are going through it right now. Do not give up. Now is not the time. There's some really beautiful magical energy coming towards you, Leo, and I love this for you. If the messages are resonating for you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments. I am the High Priestess, and I'm welcoming in divine justice and balance into my life. I'm going to pull a few extra cards here for some final messages from the Modern Witch Tarot. Thank you again for being here. Oh, that's way too many cards. If you're interested in a personal reading, Leo, click the link below. The only way to book a personal reading with me is via my website, so just please be aware of that. Okay, so we have the 5 of Pentacles reverse, which we love to see the 5 of Pentacles reverse because upright, this is the card of being left out in the cold. It's the card of financial constraint and worries and fears. I see you letting that go. And it was on top of the Page of Wands. So I definitely, and the Empress reverse. So after a period of feeling left out in the cold, not feeling abundant, not feeling stable, feeling blocked energy, I think you're going to be releasing any fears you have about this, and any financial constraint that you've been dealing with, that's going to start to dissipate as long as you're willing to do the shadow work, right? As long as you're willing to keep the faith through the struggle, right? And to recognize that, you know, there's this saying, I don't know who it's attributed to. The bad news is everything changes. The good news is everything changes. It's something like that, right? So if you've been going through a time of financial struggle or just your fears controlling things that you're doing, that is going to be coming to an end as long as you're willing to do the work to go get through that and to learn the lessons that the universe is bringing towards you. This has been a process, 4 of Cups, of you recognizing the people, places, and situations that have not been serving you, that have been depleting you, that have been disappointing you. But it's also been a sense of like, you couldn't force this, you couldn't rush this process. You kind of have had to really be with those feelings even when you didn't want to be, like I was saying earlier, right? If there was jealousy, envy, heartache, disappointment, frustration, you really have to be with those emotions, those feelings, in order to process them, let them go, and then to finally be able to be open, right, to a new opportunity, a new offer from the universe. And then we have the 3 of Wands, which is a card of waiting for your ships to come in. This is about spiritual enlightenment. And finally, after a long period of waiting, you are going to start seeing your ships come in. You are going to start seeing the seeds you've planted bloom. You are going to start to see some, you know, very real confirmation in your 3D reality of what you've been waiting for and the faith that you've had in this process. And then the last card we have out here is the Fool. A brand new journey, a brand new way of thinking, a brand new way of operating in the world. I love to see the sun here because, Leo, you are ruled by the sun. So maybe, you know, if you're in the northern hemisphere anyway, and we're moving into springtime, maybe, you know, your confidence is going to start to rise, and you're going to start to feel the rays of the sun, which are going to help you to come out of any sort of depression or darkness that you've been feeling, but you're ready to take a leap of faith. And that's what I've been talking about, right? This dark night of the soul of struggling with a lack of faith, right? Struggling with the inner critic, struggling with the self-sabotage, trying to understand, like, what are my values? What do I want? You know, how do I operate in an authentic and real way, and an aligned way, right? You're gonna level up in such a way that you're gonna have this new, like, found faith that you're ready to take this leap to start something new, knowing that the universe is gonna catch you on the other end, Leo. I freaking love this for you, Leo. I hope that it is positive for you. I hope the messages resonated. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, let me know in the comments, right, that you are ready for this Fool's journey, that you are ready to align and elevate spiritually. I just was shuffling these cards from the Animal Spirit Guidebook, and Wolf came out of the deck, so I'm going to read this card to close out this reading. Again, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. Smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. When in balance, magical, ingenious, teacher, monogamous. When out of balance, sneaky, unsure of their identity. To bring into balance, partnership, and connection. So definitely surround yourself, Leo, with people that remind you of who you are, of your magic, of your power, that support you in shifting and growing and in elevating. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you later. Bye.